it's Justin with Blackville Forestry and Land Management. We are doing a really fun project up here on Glade Park, and what this project is focused on is actually fire mitigation with basically forestry work involved. So not a lot of debris clearing, which is kind of nice. And as you can see, what we've got is a bunch of pinyon trees and sagebrush. The goal of this project is to create a defensive space around a residence up here. And if you look at the woods and how thick they are, you can imagine how big a fire can get in these conditions. So two things will happen. If you get a small sagebrush fire that is going to get picked up by the wind here, it's going to end up running into these trees. Once the trees go up, it's going to create a pretty major thermal gain, which is going to run across all the treetops. So the goal with this project is, number one, like I said, to create a defensive space around the residence. And that's going to involve basically getting the sagebrush mitigated. The other part of that is we're not going to totally clear cut the trees away, but the customer had a chance to go through and select the trees that they like the most and the healthiest trees. And so we've really gone through and thinned what was here. What you see behind me and to the sides is basically a before of the terrain that we're working in, and we'll show you an after. Some of the considerations with it is, how far should you have between the trees? Well, you know, if you look at it from a way of a fire and how far can a fire jump and travel from tree to tree, it's going to be dependent on the weather conditions, the relative humidity, and some other factors there. So as just a general rule of thumb, when you look at a residence, you want to try to clear back the trees 100 feet from around the residence. The other point of that is, which way are your prevailing winds coming from? In this location up here, it's a southwesterly wind pattern, which we kind of have going on right now, and that can really move the fire in that direction. So if you look at your residence of clearing 100 feet around it, well, the side that you're most likely to get a fire traveling towards your home with the most momentum is going to be picked up by the wind. So that's an area that you may want to step that back additionally a little further than 100 feet. You know, there's really, fire can basically travel based on a number of factors. The embers can travel a quarter mile if the wind picks it up. But if you clear it back far enough, even if some of the trees around your house go up, it's not going to be as hot as if you have this kind of thick wooded area right up next to your residence. So we're trying to save some really good trees. We're thinning it out to where if those trees do by chance go up, it's not such a heat gain that's going to catch the residence on fire. And we're shooting for roughly 20 foot plus between the trees is just a general rule of thumb. And also we're limbing up the trees. So we're trying to take these low-lying branches that the sagebrush could easily catch on fire and travel up the tree. We're, number one, going to eliminate the sagebrush. Number two, we're going to take some of those limbs up higher so that a low-lying fire can't jump into the tree canopy. And then we're going to thin the trees in a prescriptive manner around the residence and the structures, and try to provide as much protection, but also maintain an aesthetic value. So here's our fire mitigation with the thinning that we did. These trees are within the 100-foot perimeter of the residence, and we've thinned them up. We've taken the limbs up off the ground, and the sagebrush has been mitigated through this area. It does look bare right now, but you also have to consider that this is all going to grow back. If we show you future videos of this place, you're going to definitely see sagebrush starting to come back, probably a little bit by the end of summer, and definitely next year. And this is going to be an ongoing maintenance for the project as well. But here's some of what we could do for you when it comes to the fire mitigation, and this is going to really protect the residents from what possibly might be coming in the way of a wildfire. When it comes to how many trees did we take out of this area, we probably took about 80% of the trees out of this area. And what we did with the customer is the customer went through and they marked the trees that we wanted to keep, and we determined were the healthiest trees and the best trees, and that's what the flagging is for. So flagging was the trees that we were going to keep, and anything that didn't have the flagging was removed from this area. Well, hello everybody, it's Justin with Blackmill Forestry. We are on the end of our Glade Park project, and as you can see here, this is the final result of our fire mitigation. It's a little bit roughed in with the way that it's so fresh, but once you give this a little bit of time, a couple rainstorms on it, it's all going to blend back together. This is the structure over to the side that we're protecting. It's a new build, new residential. And with the homeowner and the local fire department, they came up with a plan to look at mitigating some of the fire danger. And that's where we got to come in here and work on it. So you can see the trees that are limbed up and thinned out. And then you can also see the tree line behind us where there's sagebrush and more of the natural environment. So that's what we took this same area from, was that thick wooded area to open space. The contractors here, we're just talking about it, and they wish that we would have started this from the beginning of the project and opened this up for some of their equipment to be able to move around. And that might be something to consider for other contractors as well, that if you got a build coming up in a wooded area and you've got the foresight to plan for fire mitigation, we'd love to come in and look at the job and see if we can open it up for you right off the bat so it's easier for you and your crews to work. Additionally, when you look at the fire danger that can sometimes happen from construction with the grinding solvents and things that just go wrong, not a bad idea to get ahead of that as well. Thanks for watching, and down the road here, the homeowners invited us back with a follow-up to get the final results once some landscaping is done and the project. So we hope to be back actually with the builder and talk about some of the features he used on this construction for fire mitigation. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'd appreciate it.